Hampshire had a real collapse on the opening day of their LV County Championship match with Gloucestershire at the Ageas Bowl as the home side lost 7 wickets for 38 runs in 12 overs at one stage, leaving it to their last pair to get them to a decent total. Acting captain Alex Gidman won the toss for the visitors and decided to have a bowl first on the usual green but flat wicket at the Ageas. Many visiting captains have been fooled by the sight of the surface, and Gidman appeared to be the latest as Michael Carberry and Jimmy Adams got their side off to a very solid start after morning rain had prevented a start until 1:10. The sun was out when the game finally got underway and play went on until after 7 o'clock. With these two left-handers putting bat to ball to good effect, 69 runs were put on in the opening 21 overs, and the decision to field first was backfiring a bit. Carberry was looking especially good as he eased his way to 39. But his innings was ended there by Benny Howell, who combined with another former Hampshire employee, Adam Rouse, who pouched the catch off the edge of Carberry's bat. But that wicket simply brought Adams together with the in-form Will Smith, and they stuck it out for another 15 overs as the visitors failed to find a way through until shortly before the tea interval, which was taken with the total on 106. Hampshire were 2 down by then. Adams on 43, very well caught down the leg side by Rouse, who continues to impress on trial with Gloucestershire. We were left with a long final session of the day to make up for the lost time of the morning, and it began well enough for the home side, who looked on course to make a very good first innings score, with Smith and James Vince, the country's leading run scorer, playing nicely. With the second division leaders Worcestershire missing out in this round of games and third placed Surrey moving ahead against Glamorgan and Colwyn Bay, this is a very important game for Hampshire. But having got to 144 for 2, things quickly unravelled for them after Vince on 25 left a ball from Liam Norwell bowling from wide of the crease and was given out LBW. It was the start of an excellent spell from Norwell, who in his next over also fooled Smith, who having made it to 45 was also out shouldering arms, the umpire not required this time as the ball crashed into the stumps. In the next over, Tom Smith joined the party by having Sean Irvine casually but very well held by Ian Cobain at short leg for a duck. Smith was celebrating again in his next over as Joe Gatting yorked himself after making 6. From 144 for 2, Hampshire now found themselves on 167 for 6, and just 2 balls later, Adam Wheater sliced a drive off Norwell to Cobain to go for 8. Norwell then grabbed his 4th wicket in the space of 5 overs as Danny Briggs edged a drive off him to Chris Dent, who also held on to remove Kyle Abbott after Will Gidman replaced Norwell. Now Hampshire had slumped to 182 for 9. That meant that 7 wickets had fallen for 38 runs in a dozen overs, and Gloucestershire would have been cock-a-hoop. Hampshire were in tatters, but this day was not over yet, and the next 18 overs passed by without any further losses. James Tomlinson is not known as any kind of expert with the bat, but in his last innings at the Kia Oval, he made one of his better scores of 27, and he did even better than that here. He frustrated the visiting attack for the remainder of the day in partnership with David Balcombe, who survived for more than an hour and a half for his unbeaten 38, made in a last-wicket stand of 69 runs, which has now given Hampshire a much more respectable total. They will resume their innings on the second morning on 251 for 9, but the second new ball is now available, and Norwell will hope to be given it to see if he can get what would be just the 3rd 5-wicket haul of his career. He has figures of 4 for 87 to his name thus far.